What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and DC's Legends of Tomorrow. It's a fun show. It really is. The only problem I'm having with it right now is that so far, each episode has done... There have only been 3 episodes, and this is why I'm reserving my judgment on this until later, and why I'm not completely just... oh, this is awful. Because it's actually okay because of the beginning. It feels like the formula is kind of built so far. There's conflict, the team separates into these little groups, and you have character development in between the groups. You have interaction in between these different groups. And that's kind of what's been going on. You think about the last one, it was, the 2 criminals, I'm gonna get their names. I will. I know one is Mick Rory, I think. And I want to say he's the guy with the flamethrower. The other guy's the guy with the freezing gun, something. Yep. I don't know. Anyway. But you had them with Sarah and, no. That was in the first episode, wasn't it? Wow. I was really lost here. But you had them, the 2 criminals with Sarah and Jax, kind of out and about. You had the Atom with, I think, Rip Hunter. You had... No, you had Hawkeye and Hawkman and Hawkgirl with their son, and with Rip and Atom, I think. The Atom, something like that. Ooh, anyway. They kind of separate the group and have these moments between them. In this one, it was, you had Professor, whose name once again escapes me because I hate my mind. I can remember so much stuff. I can't remember the names for some reason. Frustrating. Anyway, but you had the Professor with the Atom and Hawkgirl, and the Atom is actually his name. I can remember his name. Hang on. Dang it. It was right there. I swear. I will remember it. Just give me a second. Anyway, then you've got the 2 criminals with Jax, and then you've got Rip Hunter with Sarah. So you've kind of, once again, you've split off the group. You have these characters working together and kind of developing, together. But it's interesting enough, and because it's so early, you kind of need to do that. I just don't want to see it continually done, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Because it's not a huge deal at this point. I want to see these characters interact with different characters each episode. So I don't mind the fact that they're splitting off. And in the last episode, I saw the criminals interacting with the Atom. This episode, it's with Jax. So I don't, because it's so early on, it's not a big deal. I just hope that they don't continue to do it. And it's my caveat, I guess. What I'm worried about the most is if they continually do that, it'll just become a formula and less interesting. Now, as far as this episode goes, I still love what they're doing with the time travel, because you have this moment where I believe Mick Rory is the one that I'm thinking of. He's the one with the dry sense of humor that just cracks me up in every episode. But he tries, he steals this emerald and gives it to his dad, because where they are in that time period, his dad tries to steal this emerald and gets sent to prison for 5 years, and then whenever he finally gets out, now he's a total jerk to his family and beats them because of it. So he steals the emerald to try to change his future. Try to make it to where his dad doesn't go to jail, and doesn't become a jerk because of it. And so when he checks the timeline to see if anything's changed, it turns out nothing's changed. He later, exactly the same day that he went to jail, he tries to sell the emerald and gets sent to prison anyway for 5 years. I love that. I love the fact that they're not just fighting against Vandal Savage, they're fighting against time itself. Because even though he tried to change his future, future was just like, no, 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 no. You can't do that. Let me just change that back. And his father gets sent to prison for 5 years anyway, just for a different reason. Pretty interesting. And because I was wondering, when Sarah and Rip went into that guy's office and she's like killing all these people, I'm like, this could seriously affect the timeline. Like, what if these people are important in some way, and now these people dying in this moment cause some issues with the timeline? But it seems like that, where he tries to get his dad to not be a criminal and not go to jail, and his dad still ends up going to jail anyway. That reminds me, yeah, she killed those people, but the timeline will still find a way to fix itself. And so that's kind of the interesting part about this show, is that the time travel is not done stupidly. It's not just like, oh, she kills all those people and, well, they were just insignificant, so they didn't affect the timeline at all. No, they actually have a good reason for why the timeline doesn't change because of those people dying. Because it tries to correct itself. It tries to repair the damages that they're making. That's pretty cool. It's pretty fun to see, too, exactly how they're going to work that in. And the fact that, if they do kill Vandal Savage, the timeline is still going to try to repair itself to make it to where the world still ends in that time, and Rip Hunter's family still dies. So, the ultimate ending would be, they end up stopping Vandal Savage, they kill him, but Rip Hunter's family still dies because, a hover car, happened to crash into their hover car, and they die in a car crash. That would be probably the craziest and most ballsy ending to a show ever. To have it to where the only reason he's trying to kill Vandal Savage is so that he can save his family. And they stop him, but his family still dies anyway, because the timeline just wants to repair itself in that way. That would just blow my mind. And it would be just absolutely crazy. 1 second. I'm really tired, so I may start drinking a little bit. Not drinking, it's Dr. Pepper. Soda. So that was, I really do enjoy that, and I'm really enjoying what they're doing with this timeline, and the time travel stuff. The stuff between the professor and the Atom was okay. Apparently, he was a student under this professor and doesn't remember him because he doesn't remember most of his students. And so they just have this moment where, like I said, more character building between the two of them. He has to instill him with confidence so he's able to do what he needs to do to save Hot Girl. And then I really like what they're doing with Sarah and Rip Hunter, because Sarah's struggling with the fact that what happened to her with the Lazarus Pit, how it revived her and turned her into a killer because of it. She's really struggling with it. And Rip Hunter realizes that he himself is struggling with his own problems, because he had a chance to kill Vandal Savage long before this all started. He time traveled back to ancient Egypt and had a chance to kill him way back then, but didn't, because he's not a killer. But he feels like the fact that he didn't do that, he's almost resigned his family to that fate. So it's almost like he killed his own family in a twisted way that, makes sense only to a time traveler. And so they're both kind of struggling with their own demons. And they go in to save Hawkman, and after the whole battle ensues, and Fire and Ice guys show up with Jax, and they start helping them fight. It ends with Vandal Savage versus Rip Hunter, and Sarah versus this guy that she fought earlier and almost killed but didn't because they needed him for something. And so it's very interesting to see like them both sort of switch roles for a second because Sarah bests the guy and you see her start like stabbing with a knife and you're just like, oh, she's killing him. She's really, really killing him right now. And then you see Rib Hunter like slice Vandal Savage's throat. Quick side note on Vandal Savage: brilliant character. The actor portraying him does very well, but in these moments where he's like, when he's speaking in this tone of voice, like when he's speaking normal, he does okay. Like I can understand him. But for some reason, whenever he starts like growling while he's talking, I can't understand a word he says. So I was just like, what did he just say those past like 2 minutes while he was dying? Anyway, just a little side note on him. Great villain, just sometimes hard to understand. And so after he dies, like Rip looks over at Sarah and stops her from stabbing, and then looks at the guy, and there's stab marks like right beside his head. I'm just like, so she didn't kill him. So the killer, who's so used to killing, decided not to kill the guy, and the guy who hesitated when he should have killed the guy decided to kill him this time without hesitation. You know, that's just, it's a nice parallel, and they did it very well. And the other fun part is that now that they've killed Vandal Savage in that time, now they have to jump forward to the next time Vandal Savage appears. It's almost like they're killing all these Vandal Savages. It's crazy. But the other part is, and this is what's going to make the show even more fun, is that every time they kill him in a different timeline and they jump forward, he knows more about them in that next timeline. Like, because he's fought them before. And they bested him last time, but now he knows who they are. He knows the threat. So now next time he's going to be even more prepared. And it makes me wonder because at the beginning, whenever they were talking about, like, apparently they stopped Vandal Savage in Arrow, which I'm on the 3rd season. I'm about to start the 3rd season, so maybe he appears in the 3rd season. I don't know. Anyway, apparently they stopped him in their timeline already. What if that didn't happen anymore because of the fact that he faced them in 1975? So now, later on, he knows who they are, he knows how to stop them, and so now they don't stop him in that timeline. Makes you think. Really makes you think. Anyway, love what they're doing with the time travel. The characters are very interesting, and hopefully they will get through all of this, you know, splitting them up and have them working off of different characters, and just near the end start to bring them all together. So that way I don't have to sit through, oh, now this episode we're going to have these characters together. Hopefully that just kind of stops pretty soon. But for now, not a bad choice. Still enjoy it. Still enjoy the action. It's a lot of fun. And the CGI is really impressive for a TV show. I mean, the Atom is not incredible, but when you look at, like, you know, the budget of Ant-Man, the effects in Ant-Man are obviously better, but when you think about the budget for this show, probably not as high as Ant-Man, and the effects are still pretty good. So I'm really enjoying it, and hopefully I can finish up or catch up to Arrow and Flash, so I kind of know more about these characters and what's going on. But yeah, really enjoying it and really looking forward to what happens in the rest of the season. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like and subscribe for more Legends of Tomorrow reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.